need to know is how we manage an obstruction. If this is a done deal, don't come with this PowerPoint telling us how it's gonna look pretty and we can still make decisions like choosing the color. We don't care about the color. What we care about is the fact that our community is being assaulted for the benefits of something that we don't even own. You're telling us that we have roads that will go around that's gonna be on the edges, because that's the city's property and that's the, what about our property? Exactly. What about our property? This is so unconscionable that we have this. This is really bad. This is really bad. We need some power brokers. We need some policy people. We need to take this beyond this little.
Yes, we do.
This
on that subject, I want to.
We were going to. What we would like to answer that. That's part of, I think, what Jean was going to talk about. And the answer is in the frequently asked questions document that I passed out. It's come up recently, and we do want to address it. And Jean's the engineer, she knows a little bit more about the safety, but I'm a Northridge resident, so I was there in the earthquake. I was bounced vertically on top of my bed, so I get it. But I also know that all of our water tanks that will be made the same way this proposal is talking about didn't fail. They're all safe. They're made of welded steel, and we designed it with that model in particular. It's also small.
Are they also
it's 1 million gallons.
Are they also in the middle of a established neighborhood?
Yes.
Smack in the middle
Yes,
of the
and I'm so glad
And I don't even see it in Los Angeles. There's a huge, and I would say it's maybe 2 million gallons.
Excuse me.
Next to my house.
Here in this hill.
We have tanks. We have 119 tanks throughout our service area.
And it doesn't affect anybody.
These
it's
little
above
dots
the ground.
Can we just have, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but we just need one person at a time talking.
Alex, why don't you take her out there and show?
Well, I just wanted to show in this map, in the Hanson Dam golf course, right at the end of it, right here, there is a tall hill. And it wouldn't affect anybody's life if they put the tank right there, and it would be actually cheaper to get it up, get the road open over here, than do all the damage on the streets and affecting our lives every single day. And this is city property.
Yeah, it's on the other side
And
of the
it's
golf
a
course.
hill.
See the other side of the golf course?
Right, it's right at the end of the golf.
Alex, can you send that to me? Alex, can you email me with that data? And I will also.
You have that. Isn't this paper yours?
No, it's theirs.
You guys can look at this later if you like. But I just pinpointed a few, and again, the list of these tanks, they're in neighborhoods, they're near homes, less than 200 feet away. They're all small tanks. We have many, many more that are larger tanks. These are 1 million to 2.9 million gallons in neighborhoods.
Can I have their addresses? Can you email me their addresses where they are?
The addresses?
Yeah, the addresses of the tanks. I want to know where they are.
Yeah, and I can also send you the map.
Perfect. And the specific
You also cannot say that it's small. It's 50 feet above ground and 66 feet in diameter. And most of our homes were purchased for the view, and this is gonna obstruct that. So you can't say that that's small to us.
And we also have a deck that will show you what the views are from each street, and that's in the back.
I saw
You can
it.
look at that
I
later.
saw it.
You know, you're saying this is recycled water. You're gonna plant all those trees and everything's pretty on that property. What about that water? Isn't it not bringing mosquitoes? It's recycled water. I'm afraid that eventually, while you're supplying the golf course with the water, some parks, we're about to end up drinking that water. I am afraid that those pipes into our homes, drinking that water for washing, bathing, everything. I don't trust it.
That's not the case.
Just like Flint.
It's two separate.
The city, look what happened to them.
Just like a blue shop.
Yeah.
Okay, so the drinking water and the recycled water systems are two separate systems. It's like even the rainwater, you know, I mean, if you want to consider it 3 separate systems, it's 3 separate systems. And they're not.
So the Garber
connected
tank is
in
not
any way.
gonna connect to the Tillman?
No, well, the Tillman, that's the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay,
It's
so
not-
is
it's not
this
drinking
tank
water.
gonna connect to
So
Tillman?
that water coming out of Tillman is going to this tank. And it's not only going to this tank, it's going to first to another storage unit that we have at the Hanson.
Okay, so
at the
we already had
Dollar
this
General
discussion, because in
Absolutely.
other DWP projects that have been presented all over, and this eventually toilet to tap system, that water is gonna come from Tillman. Which means all of this water that we're talking about is eventually gonna be coming through our faucets. But what pissed me off even more is, you're putting a tank in my neighborhood, and I don't even have access to use the water.
Okay, and
I don't care that the golf course is not using it.
That's absolutely not true.
How do I have access to use this water, this recycled water? Because I'm paying to use my water. I don't know why the golf course is not, and the other places you're pumping it to. Put it on the golf course, since the golf course is going to benefit from it.
She asked a great question. It's a good question. You're probably all wondering about that. I can talk about it. Jahira's more of an expert than I am.
So Gwen and I already had this conversation, and I know that it's a long set conversation. We still have material to cover, Gwen. Okay, so we already had this conversation, and we agreed to disagree, you and I. Okay, because you feel that it's not going to be a benefit to you as a ratepayer. I tried to explain to you how it is a benefit to the ratepayer, and you said you don't agree with me, and you know what, we agreed to disagree in that sense, and so we already had that conversation. But at this point, we'd like to finish covering the content of the presentation, just, you know, to make sure that we get this information out to you guys, because that's what part of the, you know, part of what I'm hearing is, you know, the information is not out there. How come we haven't heard? So we're trying to tell you.
You understand we have like 6 days or something like that before
yeah.
the deadline, after we're being told for the first time.
So we're gonna cover the rest of the presentation, and then, you know, we'll address
do
those.
so we can move on.
Okay.
Go ahead and do that, because a lot of us have questions.
And again, it doesn't have to be a lengthy, very creative note. It can be a very simple 2-sentence, 1-sentence note. It doesn't need to take a lot of time. It needs to, however long it takes to send an email.
Yeah, neither does the presentation. Can we get going?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. That's okay. You know what, I want to go through them real quickly. This is, the next slide is the pipeline that connects connects us to the Hanson Dam. It covers, you know, Garber Street, Bernadette, DeHaven, Chanute, Osborne, and then it goes along Glen Oaks and then on Montague, which is really kind of it's in the golf course proper. So that's just the alignment. We just wanted to show you.
You're digging up the streets or something to get that in? Or
yes, on the next slide you can see the trenching that we're doing. It's going to be open trenching. There's no jacking under hills or anything. I think there was a question about that. There's no jacking under the hills or anything like that. It's just open. Small trench, it's a 20-inch pipe, so it's about like a 3 or 4 foot trench to go, and traffic will remain open, going both ways, and ingress and egress at everybody's house will be maintained. Even when we have a leak, the crews are really good about making sure people can get in and out, so they put sandbags or whatever they need to do, plate things.
The trench will be capped with cement or something, right?
Yes, it gets slurried, and then they have to do
look
asphalt.
Like
yes, we have a very strict standard from Street Services and DOT to redo the paving and everything. The next slide is a picture, as if you were standing, it's a rendering based on a picture, as if you were standing at the end of Garber Street. This is with the tank installed. You will not see the tank from the end of Garber Street.
Well, years after, when the trees grow, right?
Well, you won't see the tank, but yes, this is 10 years. 10 years with the trees that you see here is about 10 years.
Even before the trees grow, you won't see the tank.
The trees aren't obscuring
on
it,
that
it's
view.
the hill.
You do see the tank though, but not on that view.
Not on that view.
Not in this view, yeah. So, the next slide shows a view from Chanute. So on the lower streets, when you look back up the hill, certain people will have views of, you know, will have be able to see the tank, and the so the vegetative screening this is 10 years in. This is what we're planning to do to help obscure that. Okay. Just a little bit about the project schedule. It's tentative. We're working on permits and other things. So right now we are finishing up the design to get out to construction. Our environmental review is still going on. So as both the other ladies have mentioned, we want your comments to to Mr. Gonzalez, and the deadline is Monday for that. But this does show the pipeline construction and the tank construction tentative dates. Again, if we can't get our permits and stuff in time, then these could be pushed back. And we'll let you know what happens with that, but that's
But it's
just our
projected
tentative.
to start in November?
The pipeline work.
Which means our streets will be open.
So in other words, like, you're coming in here and just letting us know that's already been decided, hands have already been shaken.
No. As I just said, it's a tentative. Thank you. It's a tentative proposed schedule, and we're still working on our permits and some easement things. So we don't know what it might get changed to. So we're leaving it on the slide for now. But it could get pushed back if we aren't able to finish wrapping up all of our loose ends.
I do have just a quick question.
Yeah.
What would it take? What kind of mammoth effort would it be needed to have to stop this? Would we have to get an attorney and get an injunction? Tell me, what would it take to actually stop this, back up, and examine the alternative, which is the golf course property, who's causing most of the current local water usage problems on this kind of thing? What would it take to stop it, right, and back it up? I'm not saying stop it permanently in theory for the effort of putting recycled water in. I totally support recycled water, but to re-evaluate and allow this community to have their constitutional right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of health, safety. These safety issues, health issues they don't appear in any of the 495 or whatever pages. Nowhere. No safety.
To humans everything is, there's no greater deal. No greater deal. What are you talking about?
So what would it take? What does it take? Do we have to get an injunction?
I think the best answer to that question, honestly, is to put your comments in writing and submit them to Mr. Gonzalez. The way that the environmental process works is they have to look at all those comments and they have to respond to all those comments, and all those comments become part of the public record about this project. And then all those comments will be seen by our Board of Commissioners and when it goes for approval. So that is our
Who is the Board of Commissioners? Who are they?
LADWP Board of Commissioners? And
Or
you guys
do any
have
of them
public
live in the
meetings?
area, or what?
Yes.
And when are they?
Second and fourth, or first and third.
Yeah, I know you guys have some more questions, but I just want to finish this
Questions
one.
if you don't hurry up. You're stalling for time here. Get finished so we can ask our questions.
There are some contact names and numbers here. The last two slides show the property at Garber Street as it exists now, and then the rendering that we have for based on our design and our landscaping design for what the property will look like after we finish with the wrought iron fencing and gate across the front, and you can see the driveway, okay, and the landscaping. So that's all I have. That's the end of our slideshow. So
Okay. Questions?
Do you want to start right there? Yes.
So, from what I understood, you said that like people submit letters or emails, but like sometimes like emails and phone calls don't really answer on the transcript. So what is the protocol? Like let's just say 20 emails get out from residents or from us. What is the time frame to expect like a response back? Sometimes they follow response and say, oh, we'll get back to you.
Right.
And then they'll get back. No,
So she's asking, what is the time frame for the response to emails?
before those emails, you said it goes from there and then later it goes into the board of commissioners for the meetings. But before it gets to the meetings, like if they had 1,000 emails, and then how do they address this 1,000 in the short amount of time? Like, we run meetings too. I was just wondering.
right. All the comments go to our environmental group. Mr. Gonzalez, I'm sorry, this is so small, but it is in your slide deck right here, his email. He is the person in our environmental specialty group that is accepting the public comments. So